From Washington, this is VOA News. An exiled Russian tycoon is found dead in Britain, and rebels reach the Central African Republic's capital. I'm David Byrd reporting from Washington. British police say they are investigating the death of exiled Russian tycoon and Kremlin critic Boris Berezovsky. The 67-year-old businessman was found dead Saturday, about 40 kilometers west of London. Police say his death is being treated as unexplained and that a full inquiry is underway. Berezovsky had lived in Britain since 2000 after falling out with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Last year, Berezovsky lost a $6 billion legal battle against Chelsea Football Club owner and fellow Russian Roman Abramovich. He had accused Abramovich of blackmail and intimidation related to assets in a Russian oil company. Recent reports say that high legal costs from that case forced Berezovsky to start selling his assets. For more on this story, visit our website, voanews.com. Central African Republic rebels pushed into the capital of Bangui on Saturday, ignoring a call by the country's prime minister for talks to avoid a bloodbath. Earlier, a government spokesman said that Prime Minister Nicolas Tanguay was asking members of the Seleka rebel alliance to get in touch with the National Unity Government to try to find a peaceful solution. However, Seleka rebels say the only thing they wish to negotiate is President Francois Bozizé's departure. Seleka spokesman Eric Massey told VOA French to Africa that President Bozizé must leave the CAR to bring peace. President Barack Obama is headed home after his 4-day Middle East trip. As VOA's Dan Robinson reports, the president ended his trip with a visit to one of the world's most famous archaeological sites, the ancient city of Petra.
Petra was shut down during his visit as President Barack Obama received a special guided tour. His guide was the head of the American Center of Oriental Research, one of the organizations involved in excavations and preservation. Jordanian guides recommend at least a day or more to see Petra. Mr. Obama had only a few hours. There was heavy security throughout. Jordanian helicopters flew overhead and Jordanian army troops lined the streets. Mr. Obama's Mideast trip otherwise dealt with weighty issues of war and peace, including the rapidly deteriorating situation in Syria, refugee flows, and reforms the Jordanian monarch is pushing through. Dan Robinson, VOA News, Jordan.
President Obama used his weekly media address to appeal for Congress to pass tougher gun laws, recalling December's massacre at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut. Mr. Obama said Americans support a ban on assault weapons. He said they want limits on high-capacity ammunition magazines, school security funding, and a crackdown on gun trafficking.
As I've said before, we may not be able to prevent every act of violence in this country, but together we have an obligation to try. We have an obligation to do what we can.
The president said the ideas before the legislators are common sense ideas. Senate Democrats recently dropped an assault weapons ban from their proposed legislation, saying it would halt any chance that a gun bill could be passed. The Cypriot government is racing against a Monday deadline to complete legislation aimed at avoiding a banking collapse. The finance minister, Michaelis Saris, speaking in Nicosia Saturday, reported significant progress toward reaching a deal. He said new legislation for raising funds needed to qualify for an international bailout could be completed as early as Sunday. EU Economic and Monetary Affairs Commissioner Olli Rehn says that only hard choices remain.
It is essential that an agreement is reached by the Eurogroup on Sunday evening in Brussels on a financial assistance program for Cyprus.
The tiny Mediterranean island nation has been told by the European Central Bank that it must raise $7.5 billion in order to qualify for a $13 billion bailout loan from other Eurozone countries. The Pakistani Taliban says it will try to kill former President Pervez Musharraf when he returns to the country to take part in upcoming parliamentary elections. The Taliban released a video Saturday saying it had a hit squad prepared to assassinate Mr. Musharraf. The former president dismissed the statement as an idle threat. For more on these stories, you can always visit our website, www.voanews.com. I'm David Byrd in Washington.